Today I want to talk about Ian Curtis. For those of you who don't know, Ian Curtis was the singer of the British band Joy Division, best known for their song Love Will Tear Us Apart. Joy Division were in existence from 1976 to May 18th, 1980. And on this day, 36 years ago, Ian Curtis committed suicide by hanging himself in his kitchen. He was 23. Now, whether you're familiar with the story of Ian Curtis and Joy Division or not, Joy Division had and continue to have a massive impact on the music world. They started out heavily influenced by punk acts like The Clash or The Stooges, but they eventually developed their own unique, melancholic sound, which became the precedent to gothic rock. And after Ian Curtis died, the remaining members of Joy Division reformed into the band New Order. I used to think that the day would never come, that my life would depend on morning sun. They were a massive part of the new wave movement and are still making music today. All through my teenagerhood, I was always aware that so many bands that I listened to would not make music the same way if not for Joy Division, like AFI, U2, Depeche Mode, Interpol. I knew for a while that I wanted to do a tribute to Ian Curtis today on the anniversary of his death. But where do you even start with Ian Curtis? As an artist, he was raw and eloquent. There are few lyricists who can articulate sadness quite the way he could. And of course, he was famous for his spastic dance moves. To the radio. Which may or may not have been a symptom of his epilepsy, which occasionally caused him to collapse on stage during performances. Briefly at the beginning of Joy Division's career, he had a fascination with fascist imagery, which triggered some speculation about his political alignments. But then again, lots of bands were fixated with fascist imagery. I mean, have you seen Pink Floyd's The Wall movie? And I think that because he was so fascinating as an artist, fans of Joy Division across the decades, including myself, have tried to grasp who Ian Curtis was as a human being. There's a lot of material surrounding his life. We have the famous biography Touching from a Distance, written by his wife Deborah Curtis, and that in turn was the main source material for Anton Corbijn's film about Ian Curtis entitled Control, which, oh my god, is so good.
When I'm up there, singing,
genius actually.
They don't understand how much I give, and how it affects me.
But if you ever watch it, have a box of tissues at hand. But even with so many insights into his life, Ian Curtis has remained very much an enigmatic figure in music history. And of course, unfortunately, as with many artists who meet untimely deaths, Ian Curtis has become something of a legend because of his death. Joy Division fans, like myself, are often guilty of deifying him, which is understandable. He was this young, mysterious person who gifted us with this explosion of talent and then just departed from this world, leaving us caught up with questions of how much more he could have given us if he had lived longer. But arguably, expectations of how much Ian Curtis could have given us, even when he gave us his all, were among the things that ultimately drove him to his death. Even when he was alive, people demanded divine magnitudes from a man who was really just a human being suffering terribly from depression and emotional turmoil in his personal life. That brings me to mental health, and that's at the heart of what I want to talk about today. When deifying an artist like Ian Curtis and mythologizing their death, we run the risk of wrongfully glorifying mental health issues. It is a flaw in our culture that we have this tendency to see issues like depression as either a source of stigma and shame or as some sort of fount of genius. When we perceive mental health issues in these extremes, that comes at the cost of seeing these issues for what they are, health issues like any other, which deserve to be treated and understood like any other. When commemorating Ian Curtis, it's essential to remember that he was an exceptionally gifted human being and also an unfortunate casualty of a time when mental health wasn't well understood. And in the meantime, reach out to the person in your life who's in need of help. Show them empathy. Empathy is such an important first step in preventing casualties like Ian Curtis, so that the world isn't deprived of more talent like his. I'll link a playlist of my favorite Joy Division songs below. In the meantime, feel free to comment and please subscribe.